Paul is drawing to the end of his letter to the church in Ephesus in Ephesians chapter 5. He's been talking about the love of God for us. He loved us even though we were enemies. He's made us right with him. And then he begins to shift and talk about the difference it should make in our lives. If we really believe that, if we really trust in God's mercy, it should create a shift in us that we might become more merciful and loving ourselves. In fact, he begins to use this illustration of light and darkness. God has been light to us. Be a light to the world. Let me read from Ephesians chapter 5. I'll read just the first two verses of the chapter and then skip down a little bit. Therefore, be imitators of God as beloved children, and walk in love as Christ loved us and gave himself up for us, a fragrant offering and sacrifice to God. Down to verse 8. For at one time you were darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Walk as children of light. For the fruit of light is found in all that is good and right and true. And try to discern what is pleasing to the Lord. Take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. For it is shameful even to speak of the things that they do in secret. And when anything is exposed by the light, it becomes visible. For anything that becomes visible is light. Therefore it says, awake, O sleeper, and arise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you. That is what the Lord wants us to be. Tastes of the resurrection, of awakening from the death that we kind of flesh out in our lives, but also real death, as the Lord calls us to resurrection. Be light. You know, a number of years ago, when I lived in an apartment before we had kids, we had this really nice bathroom. It was all tiled and a very comfortable place, but there were no windows. So when the lights were off, it was pretty dark. And maybe you've had this experience. You walk into a room that you know is really dark in and of itself, but you can just switch the light on. And so that's what I did. I hit the light switch, and light flashed for just a second, and then you hear this pop, and it all goes dark. The light just blew out. And as I did it, my wife could hear from the other room, oh, I was expecting something to shine light, and it failed. It disappointed. I want for us to think about this in the way the Lord calls us to act in the world. We are called to be light. But are we disappointing and bringing darkness because we're rude, because we're short-tempered, because we're inflexible, because we get frustrated when people don't think like us? The Lord has been light in our lives, and that should change us. And we respond to that mercy, not by trying to earn it, but honor it in living out that light. Are you a light to your neighbor in the way that you behave? Or when they hear the word Christian, do they think they're going to get a taste of darkness? Think about that this week. Seek to be the same kind of light that the Lord has been to you, to those around you. Blessings on you all.